Hello, my name is Sheridan Markham, and my city is Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Kuala Lumpur was founded in 1857 and is located where the Gombak and Klang rivers merged together. The sole purpose of this city was to introduce tin mining. Prospectors were successful with their endeavors, and the city became a hotspot for merchants to trade their goods. After merchants made Kuala Lumpur their homes, the city was born and began to grow under British rule. From 1867 to 1874, Kuala Lumpur was the battlegrounds for the Selangor Civil War. This war occurred because of disputes over mining profits, and they weren't sure who should rule the city. Eventually, a man by the name of Kapitan Yap won the title of ruler and put a plan in place to rebuild Kuala Lumpur after the war. Due to Kapitan Yap's efforts, the city became the capital of Selangor in 1880. Also, Yap had a city planning idea that would impact the future of the city. He wanted to keep farmers close by so there would be a food source readily available. Unfortunately, in 1881, after the renewal of the city, it burnt down. Yap immediately took action and decided to rebuild the city using brick so that if there was a fire that ever happened again, that there wouldn't be as much damage. After Yap passed away, the city was maintained, but citizens began to realize that he had never incorporated an efficient way of traveling throughout the city. In present-day Kuala Lumpur, the roads are very narrow and do not allow for easy access. In 1942, Kuala was taken under control by Japanese authorities during World War II. Many of the citizens were treated poorly, and it wasn't until 1945 that the Japanese surrendered due to the atomic bombs dropped in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Now, we will discuss present-day Kuala Lumpur. It is believed by 2020, Malaysia will have an urbanization rate of 75%. Kuala Lumpur is a major conurbation of Malaysia and therefore will be impacted heavily. With a current population of 1.6 million, Kuala Lumpur is in high demand for more housing and communal amenities. Although the governing body of Kuala Lumpur wants to aid this growing city, there are no more land plots to develop on. To improve some of these issues, Kuala Lumpur put a national physical plan in place in 2006. This plan covers 2006 to 2020. Their goal is to create an efficient, equitable, and sustainable national spatial framework to guide the overall development of the country towards achieving a high income and developed nation status by 2020. Now we will discuss an issue in Kuala Lumpur that has contributed to poor air quality and traffic congestion. In the 1980s and 1990s, two large auto companies manufactured their vehicles out of Kuala Lumpur. This booming industry, along with low-density housing near the highway, increased the percentage of citizens that own vehicles. Why do people still use their vehicles to commute? Public transportation has not adapted to changing land use patterns and is deemed impractical. The ratio of privately owned vehicles to public transportation is 89 to 11. As previously stated, Kuala Lumpur has very narrow roads that are not adequate for traveling efficiently. Even with the addition of a 6-lane highway, the city is not suitable for the high concentration of commuters. Traffic congestion is a daily problem and will continue to be until there is a better transportation program put in place. The spatial model that suits Kuala Lumpur is the multi-nuclei model. The center of Kuala Lumpur is commercial-based, which is typical of a multi-nuclei model. This area is known as the Golden Triangle and has government and high-rise buildings as well as a railway station. It is known as the Golden Triangle because it is a triangular span of land that is considered the heart of the city. Around this triangular area is a zone of middle-income housing. In an area to the west of the middle-income housing is an area known as Bukit Tingkum, which contains high-income housing. Lastly, there are various squatter settlements dispersed across Kuala Lumpur. The settlements have gradually increased because of urban sprawl. I hope you learned something that you didn't know before about Kuala Lumpur and about Malaysia.